Russia 4-3 in the final game of the 2020 World Junior Championship to win gold for the 18th time. Through potentially tournament-ending injuries to Barrett Hayden, Alexis Lafreniere, so much adversity, that huge 6-0 loss to Russia in the group stage, Team Canada pulled through and won gold. Now, I have seen many World Junior Championship finals, but this game, the whole way through, was one of the most even games I've ever seen. And despite it being so even, we still got that trademark Canada versus Russia final gold medal game comeback that we've become accustomed to in these last 10 years, ever since Russia came back and Canada being up 5-1, I think, in Buffalo in 2011. But right away, right off the get-go, the shots were pretty much even. The number of penalties each team were taking were pretty much even. Yes, Canada got into a bunch more penalty trouble in the first period, but then the Russians took more penalties in the second and third, and it all evened out. Shots, again, even on all accounts. Goals, back and forth basically the whole way through. This really was an incredible, classic World Junior final game. Now, for the first half of it, there was almost no scoring until the Russians get a power play on Barrett Hayden was getting hooked, it looked like, and then they said he was holding the stick. Very weak call, but with the way refs have been going in the NHL and in the World Juniors just for the past couple of years, really, reffing's been not very good everywhere. This is the sort of call that we've become accustomed to. So Russians go on the power play when they really probably should not be on the power play, and as everyone would have called the one power play they probably didn't deserve, they score on. Nikita Alexandrov scores the first goal of the final and puts the Russians up 1-0. But just 2 minutes after that, two Russian players both take penalties in the same play, giving Canada a 2-minute 5-on-3 power play. And about 30 seconds into that, Joe Veleno throws it on, and then Dylan Cousins, the man from the Yukon, shovels it home, ties the game up 1-1. Both goals on the power play. What did I say? Back and forth, even game. Now, before the second period ends, Grigory Denisenko gets one, puts the Russians up 2-1, and going into the third period, it is a 2-1 Russian lead. Not looking very good for Canada. Starting off the third period, Connor McMichael gets the breakaway. He's stopped. A couple minutes later, the Russians are going the other way, and they get a goal. Maxim Sorkin, a little over 8 minutes into the third period, and Russia is up 3-1, and things are looking bad for Canada. But this is a Canada-Russia final game, so as you could expect, a comeback was nigh. And literally 40 seconds after that goal, Connor McMichael has a crazy deflection off his back leg. I don't know how that happened. That's incredible puck luck, and Canada brings it within one. McMichael gets one after that missed breakaway, which would have tied the game up to bring Canada within one. 2 minutes after that, Canada on the power play, and Barrett Hayden from the right side just doing what he's been doing all tournament. A absolutely fantastic shot to tie the game, and it's a 3-3 game with 9 minutes left. Back tied up, the Russians are starting to scramble, back even, things are looking good. And then in the last 10 minutes, in a tie final game, a bit of magic happens. With all the top tier talent in one of these tournaments, all the top tier talent in any international tournament, a lot of times, a lot more than you'd expect really, you see the winning goal being scored by some guy who it's their first goal of the tournament, some guy who's always been around but hasn't gotten something offensively going. And that's exactly what happened here. 4 minutes left, Akil Thomas scores his first goal of the World Juniors to put Canada up 4-3 and win the game. Akil Thomas scores with 4 minutes left. Canada holds on with, albeit a very messy last couple minutes of just some bizarre penalties, some bizarre non-calls. The Russians getting incredibly unlucky with Denisenko breaking his stick on a slap shot and then instinctively going to poke check it away from the Canadian player, and of course takes a penalty for broken stick. And after all of that, the Canadians hold on and win the game, claiming gold back to Canada, bringing it back after what was an incredibly disappointing tournament last year, and winning for a third time since 2015. Now this World Juniors for Canada was a bit different because I feel like just going in, we didn't have the name 19-year-old players that we usually have. There were no Sam Reinhart, Max Domi type players, and because of that we seem to have a higher number of 17-year-olds than we usually do. We even had a 17-year-old defenseman and a lot of undrafted players. But of those undrafted players, Alexis Lafreniere had 9 points in basically 4 games because that Russian game in the preliminary round he was injured very early. But the high picks that we did have, Barrett Hayting, Dylan Cousins, stepped up and put in the performances that we needed them to put up, that we required them to put up for us to win gold. And even guys who weren't top 10 picks, but were still high quality prospects, like Nolan Foote and Joel Hofer. Oh my God, what a game he had, what a tournament he had. Just stepped up and really showed why Canada is the elite country for developing hockey talent in the world right now. And at the end of a crazy week and a half, this is a very, very fast, quick tournament, Canada is once again on top of the under-20 world and the kings of hockey development. And in the end, this was a fantastic tournament. Sweden beating Finland to win the bronze medal. Czech Republic had a great moment beating the Russians on the opening day as the hosts. That was their big host moment. Would have been great if they could get to the semifinals, but this is an incredibly tough tournament to get to the semifinals in, as shown by the fact that Canada is starting to get knocked out in the quarterfinals more often than I think all of us would like. The US didn't make the semifinals this year because right now it seems like any given year there are 5 countries that really deserve to make the semifinals in any given year, and then every once in a while the Slovaks or the Czechs or the Swiss can make a play and get to the semis and sometimes even win a medal. And we're starting to the point where in the World Juniors now where even the teams that are getting relegated can make noise in the group stage. I mean, the Germans were playing in the relegation round and they beat the Czech Republic and really put up some fantastic performances. We're starting to get to a point where this truly is a 9 or 10 team tournament where anyone can really make some noise, because these lower ranked countries aren't really pushovers anymore. Switzerland isn't a pushover anymore. Germany's not a pushover anymore. Kazakhstan isn't even a pushover anymore. These lower ranked countries are starting to get really good, and you're starting to feel that these countries are coming on and starting to be real hockey nations. But after this incredible tournament, Canada has once again reigned supreme and is on top of the world. So that does it for this video. If you liked it, hit like. If you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description. And I will see you next time.